Their backs against the wall. Golden Guardians Academy have got to put their heads down, look at the whiteboards behind them, and they're going to need to come up with that game plan right now. This is losers finals. They've got to do something, or TLA will go on to face 100 Thieves once again tomorrow. Welcome back to the list, ladies and gentlemen. What we've seen so far between these two teams has been a treat to watch, but like, I'm sure on both ends though, I'm sure some fans are elated and some fans are worried. But Destrux, let's talk a little bit about TL and just this early game that I know caught us all by surprise.
Yeah, I really like the way Inori did play the early game in this one, because he started his red buff and just cross-mapped straight to bottom, and he was looking to punish Newbie, who opted to go for this Seraphine pick, getting that immobility, being able to take that down. But that was not without response, and the best response to come through from Golden Guardians was Rosethorn. He had a phenomenal early game. He ganks in the mid lane, as you had just seen over there, able to try and predict out where the Blanc was going to go, set up a gank over in the top side. Even though Inori was putting all kinds of havoc over in the bottom lane, Rosethorn will get a counter gank down there as well. By 6 minutes, he successfully ganked every single lane. He had a great early game. He set up Niles for a lot of success on top of that, who was able to get first brick over in the top lane and get a 30 CS lead. It felt like this early game was going to snowball for Golden Guardians.
Well, you know, I like to think of the Bruce Lee quote here: I fear not the man who ganks 10,000 lanes once, but the man who ganks one lane 10,000 times. And Nori coming bot lane was just absurdly strong, really punishing this newbie pick on the Seraphine, which quite honestly didn't perform anywhere near as well as I were hoping it would. It was just too immobile for what you had going for you, and because of that, Prismal never got going. You saw it, especially Jan, looked really good this game because of how much he was able to capitalize on the immobility, and it just felt like TLA had the answer every time, even with Rosethorn getting such a strong early game. It really comes down to how you can enable the lanes if you're the jungler, and unfortunately, Rosethorn just could not get this bot lane going.
And this kind of continued throughout this entire game, right? Like you mentioned, just Roaster couldn't translate that lead to, even though I gotta say, GGA in 2 out of these games, and will in 2 out of these 4 games almost, have had really solid early games, right? They've continued to perform, and they managed to get like to really like a lot of gold onto Niles and sometimes Yinbi too. But yeah, when you're looking towards like past about 20 minutes after they get the first herald, TLA, something switches within their whole composition, and where they get ready to execute on a dime. Even looking at some of the dives, and if you look down more towards all those dragon fights too, they're executed perfectly, and you come back with the return of Big Dogs, who, bro, continues making plays like this. His Camille has been so good this entire series, and you can see why they keep putting him on it. Can I just say, by the way, real quick side note, they should have gone Seraphine Sona. Like, if they go Sarasona, things go really interesting. I can't. Give it to you. What is it? Just say it. Just say it.
Do you want me to say it? Do you really want me to say? Okay,
really
Seraphine Sona is just not going to work in this meta. It feels like there's too much engage. There's just not enough time to stall out, which Sona Seraphine is for. And it's just not what makes Golden Guardians Academy work. It's the engage, and it's the ability to disengage. I feel like, especially newbie on tanks, Braum being available throughout that entire draft was kind of baffling to me. And the fact that they went with the Seraphine just really weakened their comp and didn't make them able to stall out so that Yunbi in particular could get going on the rise.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to that. I just hate Seraphine. I'm, kind of Scorpion Empire. Gotta follow that trend going on.
Okay. To be fair though, not Yunbi, the newbie still had a really solid performance on the Seraphine, like so hitting some really clutch encores, right? But like it's weren't able to follow up off of that. But right now though, because like GGA backs against the wall, facing like how do we get them game 5, Cage?
So there's a few things that could change. It seems like as the series has gone back and forth, it's all about who can get top prio in the draft. So whether it's Niles picking first or whether it's Dokula getting the first pick, you need to make sure that you get the right counter matchup. And whether that's choosing Gangplank into something like Camille, or rather getting something a little bit stronger. I like the Kench that came through in game 2. In this game, the Chase blind pick just didn't work out. And I feel like focusing on that top side for draft is going to be very clutch for both of these teams.
Yeah, and this comp really doesn't play to the way that Golden Guardians have played in the past. You know, we're looking for something that's a little bit more scaling and teamfight oriented for those late stages. This didn't really have a front line, and it showed. Pretty much Harry had his way any which way about it when he was able to just distort in. He wants to hit any target. Any single one of the members of Golden Guardians Academy was great to grab. And from the rest of there, like, you know, just looking at the way the game played out, Team Liquid were able to bob and weave the way they wanted. What could you really do to close in on them? When it comes down to Golden Guardians, I feel like is going to be the mid game and how they handle the mid game, how they transfer their early game success, those kills they're able to get, Rosethorn getting successful ganks in every single lane, transferring that to the mid game to be able to get some success. But yeah, that's the rough part for me when it comes to Golden Guardians. I haven't been impressed with their mid game. That's where Team Liquid is exploiting them. That's why this is ending before 30 minutes.
GGA either need to be able to translate these leads, or they need to make sure the game goes past 35. Because, like, if neither one of those two comes to fruition, then you could have a run back what we saw before for Team Liquid Academy. But for now, though, we'll leave that up to the draft and to the casters to take us through after this very short minute and 45-second break. Y'all don't go nowhere. See you back.
Welcome back to the Caster Desk for the LCS Proving Grounds 2021 Summer Semifinals Best of 5 between Team Liquid Academy and Golden Guardians Academy. We'll be getting in draft here shortly, but Rebel, we're going into game 4. Golden Guardians backs up against the wall, got knocked down in game number 3, but we saw them bounce back in game 2. We know it's possible.
That we do. When they're able to have some semblance of a way to stall out at the beginning of the game and match the pressure that Team Liquid Academy was having, not let them transition their mid-game into a very advantageous situation, specifically around those dragons. We've seen dragons be so important. It was just 2 that were taken by Golden Guardians Academy, and they were able to stall out the game, prevent that from happening. This bot lane seems to be so important now, where Team Liquid Academy have figured out, Yawn, Ayla, able to accomplish a bunch when they are competing against the likes of Prismal Newbie. If Prismal Newbie have more agency, maybe there is a chance that they can test these dragons, keep this game stalled, play to that 35-minute plus win condition.
So I'm looking at the bans first. I'm going to get to that pick a little bit later on. Golden Guardians not changing up sides for the 4th game in a row. Find that very interesting as we get into it. Aurelia, Thresh, Cassiopeia banned away on that blue side by GGA. TLA on the other side take away the Kindred again. The TF and the Ziggs, mainstays throughout the entire series so far, is the first pickup of Trundle for GGA for Rosethorn. And on the other side, TLA insta lock in the Bard and LeBlanc.
Not wanting to give up the Bard this quickly. I did not think Bard was going to jump up this high in priority to take it at R1 here for the side of Team Liquid Academy, but they go ahead and do it alongside that LeBlanc. The LeBlanc makes some sense because it's been contested between Harry and also Yunbi during the course of this series, but the Bard jumping up this high, we've seen the damage that can be done from between Ayla and also Newbie, and so not wanting their opponents to grab that one for themselves. Same reason why GG Academy, they prioritized the Trundle immediately. Instead of having to go the Rise, they snagged that one away for themselves.
They also get the Rise on top of it. So Yumi actually looked really good on the Rise last time around. Those early realm warps were huge, especially to the bot lane. But it just felt like they didn't have the momentum behind it, right? And I feel like that's something really important to look at when you look at GGA as a team itself. They thrive off momentum, it feels like. It feels like this team is so run, do or die by what's happening in the games. And that's why I was so confident about that second game, to see them come back in the way they did. Now into game 4, you've got to have that same mentality. You've got to have that, I've got to make it to one more game in the Summer Proving Grounds. They get the Rakan this time around, was banned last game.
Yeah, it's been taken off the board a couple of times just because of how much power it has inside of roaming for Newbie. He plays it quite a bit, is able to make a massive impact, and it can match a little bit of what Bard's capable of doing, which is the important thing. I expect that this game, while Team Liquid Academy can play into their Bard lane, into what could be another Jhin Bard setup, into whatever is coming out here from the side of GG Academy, especially if they double ban on that bottom side the way they did the game number 2. This time, if Prismal's on something self-sustaining, that's going to allow for Rakan to get out and about on the map. That's going to allow for Newbie to make an impact the way that it happened in game number 2, when that preference did come through, when that win did come through against the side of Team Liquid Academy for GGA.
We'll see the prevalence of bot lane already being shown in the first ban by TLA. They do not want to give Prismal that Ezreal yet again. He could. That is the comeback mechanic there right now for GGA. They banned it off the board. It is also the Camille, I believe, that's going to be joining GGA on the ban list there, so a little bit more focused towards the top lane, which we haven't seen the top lane matchup picked up just yet.
We have not. This is, I think, the latest that we're going to get a real look at the top lane matchup during this.
Get the bot lane and the top lane.
The
premier matchups are going to be picked last year.
Yeah, I think game 1 we did get the first pick of the top lane. Was it B4, right? R4, my apologies, because it was Dokla taking that Camille blind into whatever it was that Niles was going to want into that matchup. This time we're not getting Jace, we're not getting Camille. So a lot of that kind of typical blind stuff that you would see from these two has been removed off the board. Ornn's still available. If Niles wants to go back to that kind of tried and true pick that they know will work if they get it into the later stages of the game, still available. And especially with Team Liquid out of bans, definitely on the board for themselves.
It is. The Jace was the ban by TLA. It was the Varus who's the last ban for Golden Guardians Academy. Literally instantly. TLA, lock in the Lucian.
I can appreciate that very, very heavily. Number 1, good for Yon. Showed it yesterday. Didn't get him a win, but was very good on that pick. Number 2, if it's a GP angle for the side of Golden Guardians Academy and they say, all right, let's take it, flex the Lucian top lane for only the second time this entire split. All of a sudden, Dokla gets another advantageous matchup. Maybe get some more solo kill highlight plays from him on the top side.
Could be. We'll see how that all pans out, though. It is the Xayah locked in for Prismal, so you get the Lovers duo down to the bot lane for GGA. Like that setup. Want to see how Prismal is really able to pilot the Xayah, but as well as Newbie on the Rakan. Got to see what influence he has, because that game 2 was a lot of influence from Newbie, especially getting off the board. And Ornn is that final lock-in for GGA. Their backs up against the wall. They trust in the Ornn.
Set is the idea that Dokla has gone to previously. I wonder if that is going to be another option here, especially with like Rakan jumping in when you've got like a number of other champions in this particular case. It's good into the Ornn that Dokla wants to play because obviously he's selected for this matchup specifically. But it also allows you to like not build insanely tanky, still be a pretty good front line, and be able to pull out Rosethorn from the front of a fight. Follows up pretty decent engage, things of that sort. The laning phase, I think, mostly is what Dokla wants to play this for to try to accelerate things relatively quickly.
You're saying my color caster has a big brain and can predict players' choices? What is this? Crazy. Now, I really like this setup for TLA, but as well as I like the setup for GGA, because you do still have the Ornn. You have a lot of that late game scaling. The thing for me is like you're looking over at TLA's Academy's squad and like it's hit the ground running, get that gold going and snowball. What happened last game? They hit the ground running and they did not let go of that one. So I'm very worried for GGA, as we heard the devs talking about, where they were talking about more so the Seraphine Sona bot lane, not enough time. I still feel like that could be the case here in this game number 4.
I actually am not a massive fan of Team Liquid Academy's composition. Like, if you take this into team fighting territory at like 25, 30 minutes into the game, even if
They
they're
don't
up
need
like
to worry
5k
about
gold,
that.
well, like, how are you fighting into like Rakan or an engage with like the consistent DPS of like the Xayah Rise? You're rocking like a set, like there's some cool uses for set, I guess, to disengage some members, but there's not too much. And then you've got like the dive from like LeBlanc, and then also like the Nocturne. I guess the best way you could try to operate this is just as like a full all-in dive composition with this Lucian, but that feels
Steamroll.
so risky here. Yeah, steamroll composition. That feels risky though for Team Liquid Academy. Like you said, they don't get their feet running pretty quickly.
Yeah, boom or bust time for TL Academy. They want to book their revenge ticket against the 100 Thieves Academy in the grand finals. See if GGA can bring us to game number 5. We're going to sit to a little break as we load up on the Summoner's Rift. Going into our potentially final game, Team Liquid Academy taking on Golden Guardians Academy in the LCS Proving Grounds 2021 Summer Semifinals. The action continues as TLA taking a page out of GGA's book, getting that level 1 going.
Actually, yeah, they have the reflection on both sides. Just both of them are worried about that potential invade on the opposite side of the map, and it's going to be thwarted. Neither one of them going to find much, and neither one of them also going to walk into the river blind. They're not going to worry about it too heavily. So here, again, no real vision going to be put down on either side to capture for themselves. Really quickly, walking into this game, before we touch on anything else, I want to talk about how big of a Chad that newbie is for not taking flash on Rakan. In a composition like this, when you have Set who's very low range, when you have Nocturne that's very low range, when you have not like you've got a LeBlanc who has to throw her body in to do a fair amount of the damage with distortions and such, it actually to me makes some sense to say, okay, I don't need to flash with a grand entrance with my ultimate on in order to get an engagement into the enemy team, because most of the time we're playing response as it is, and if I do need to play aggressive, it's going to be off the back of an Ornn ultimate, and I don't need my flash anyway. And so here, Newbie says double combat summoners bot lane could convert us some advantage against the Lucian and the Bard, who could be playing for early game, gives you some more kind of versatility, while it is, again, pressure onto the Rakan to not have that flash, try to come up with some crafty engages without it. It's an interesting thought to me.
It is. I would like to see how much aggression we see from Prismal and Newbie early, because
insane.
that range advantage is huge, and Ayla almost just going down, has to get the heal burned by Yan. As the exhaust was also burned, you got double summoner spells used by Newbie as well. So huge aggression from GGA early on. They can utilize that range advantage to keep themselves in this game.
Got to appreciate that. Again, Newbie burning both of those combat summoners and keeping Prismal's up. Prismal is the defense now for this lane, and Rakan has a lot of safety to himself when he has that advanced E range when it comes to like playing with a Xayah. First time we see GGA's bot lane really find this aggression. I can appreciate when they have this Irakan, the level 1 W start just to put damage down. They are not going to let this Lucian Bard bully them. They are going to say, we are going to win this laning phase. We are not just late game carries. We are not just farm to 200 CS Ezreal. We want to do some damage.
Hayri getting caught in mid lane though. Rosethorn goes for the flash.
Wow.
Hayri flashes as well. The root does connect. Yunbi goes for the kill. One more tick, one more auto, but nobody's there to help him. There it is. First blood for GGA.
Oh my goodness, had to be so close in terms of that regard. But again, Hayri this early into the game, falling to the gank. Well played by Rosethorn, I have to say. The distortion combination doesn't make it easy for that pillar to be a very effective tool against the LeBlanc, but somehow in that situation was able to push her after she had used it into the middle of the lane and dropping it behind her to get the flash, and then as well, also the kill off the back end into the pockets of Yunbi. Really, really good aggression already. Bottom and mid lane, GGA not going out without a fight.
They absolutely aren't, and that's exactly what we expect from this squad. And you see the pathing from Rosethorn has been integral early on, and some of those unique pathways, some of those unique moments can really end up in a boon for the team. And you see Hayri does not expect a thing.
Props to our S+ production team for being able to snag this so far back, because we get to see the actual pathing of Rosethorn as that distortion came in so that he could put some pressure into the wave and also into Yunbi. It comes through. I wonder if a flash over the wall would have been better there from Hayri, thinking he could just close the distance enough, especially with the chain having already been attached. It was at least a thought, I guess, that area, if he flashes over the wall, maybe they have to at least flash to respond right there. It is just the kill that goes over. The flashes were burnt from both Rosethorn and Yunbi in the end, but still, the kill going over to the Rise makes this even more insufferable than it already was.
And for TLA, the response here is waiting to that level 6 mark for Nori, getting him on the map with the paranoia, and trying to get some gold in the belt of these carries. Hayri and Jan in specific, you've got to get that early skirmishing down to a T, and you've got to try to start building some momentum for the squad, especially with the way that TLA has drafted their composition.
Interesting. I'm timing right now what is going to happen with Rosethorn, because if Rosethorn decides to head back to bottom side, which looks like he's going to play for the Gromp and then play into bottom, there is a potential for this kind of slow push to maybe amount to what would be pressure on bottom side for a Dragon shoving in the Lucian, but Bard being somewhere else.
Oh, Yunbi, he's just going to get caught here. The fear as well. A couple tower shots from Inori, but Yunbi gets dragged down to the dirt by Hayri. They got to question what happened there.
Nice response play. It was Bard just kind of touching out of lane, deploying through that mid side, making sure that if a play were to come about, they would be able to find it. And you can see Trundle has been chilling, making a dive happen against the legs of Dokla, who has yet to take a back. Can he fight his way out?
There we go.
No.
He's finally going to go down. The facebreaker doesn't even come out. Dokla is taken out, but it's still TL who were able to trade something in mid.
I was looking for what would be a path from Rosethorn into bottom side to continue put aggression with the Xayah Rakan lane, but instead able to find it top side after the mid lane goes down, so that's a shift that Hayri wouldn't be able to defend. So good kind of reflection if that wasn't even in the play, because Rosethorn looked like he was heading top before anything else, and it was just the crash wave on bottom side that they were going to play for in the first place. Ended up giving a bit of farm over. This is where Ayla was, who actually went through top side all the way through that jungle, able to spot out. It was actually the scrying plant that caught everything. That was
so he was
really
waiting.
big.
He was waiting for the back there and just was buying time for Yunbi. Ayla too quick on it. That's huge. And then we get to see the dive in the top lane set up by GGA.
Yeah, good response right there. Again, when Ayla is able to deploy through his own jungle, find the Rise with the scrying plant, catch out his back, and make sure they get punished for it, that's really big stuff coming out from the side of Team Liquid Academy.
Shenanigans here. Nori and Rosethorn in a 1v1. You've got Ayla backing him up. Newbie here as well. To turn into a 4v3, 4v4 rather. If Ayla wants to go for this, they do have the tempo on the Rosethorn as well. Jan is caught on the side. He's going to get the exhaust burned on him. Rosethorn just separating some space here. They can't find Jan. They can't commit. And they're just getting dragged across here. GGA try to find the pillar. They can't find Ayla on the magical journey.
You know what we're talking about, though, once again, is when you look at these early games from the side of GGA versus Team Liquid Academy, there is like this thing that drives into your brain, like, oh, GGA is doing fine. They're going to make it to late game. This is another one of those games. This feels exactly like Game 2 did when it came to like what kind of pressure they're playing on early, what kind of things that they're accomplishing early. Game 3 had some of that as well, but eventually ended up leading into bot side, just kind of taking over everything. But Team Liquid Academy haven't really found that advantage to play on, as it's been mitigated in mid lane, and then you've got the 2 assists on Rosethorn You got the kill in top lane for the likes of Niles. Their top side seed solidified, and they're going to be able to stall this game out. And no dragon stacking already started from the side of TLA either, which means that this game gets expanded even further. The longer that this first dragon take ends up coming through, even if fourth dragon is what you have to play for GGA, the longer it takes, the longer that timer is going to be, and the easier it is to play into that later stage team fight.
And that's the scariest thing for Team Liquid Academy when they drafted these pieces. When we were talking about that early game dominance we saw in game number 3 and trying to continue that with the comp they got for themselves, they can't find the early advantages. They can't find the bot lane, pressure that they want. They can't find the kills on the Hayri. He's gotten 1, but it's a lot of this level 6 that mattered for me, and Inori not really able to get off the ground running here because GGA are pulling all the shots here. They are getting the Rift Herald now, and now going to be spotted out by Inori, who moves in to try and take it with the priority in top lane. A little bit more so in favor of GGA. We'll see if they want to back up into this here, as Yunbi is also right around the corner.
Yeah. So first to 3 members and 4 members is TLA. First to 5 members is actually GGA. The longer this happens, the easier it is for GGA. And you can see Team Liquid Academy, they are not comfortable finishing this up quite yet because you still have Yon on the bottom side. Can they steal it away? Maybe if Inori decides to go in for an ultimate or something to steal this one, but with no vision in the area, not going to worry about it too heavily. Instead, it's just going to be Yon collapsing a couple of waves, hopefully pulling at least a, if not multiple turret blades. Probably at this point, it's just going to be the one going down, and then set up potentially into the bottom side. You can see Inori shifting for the dragon as a response, as that kind of dragon control in the mid game is something that Team Liquid Academy have been able to bank on, even with the Rift Herald going down here for GGA.
Look at Ayla. He's just going for some fun stuff up here in the top lane and get his reset off, potentially help out Dokla. Try to get something. But as you said, the dragon will be the focus of TLA. They will be able to find that one. We'll see if top lane comes down for Niles, who wants to be outplaying the 1v2. Gets the knock up there into the face breaker of Dokla. It's going to be not enough damage to follow it up. Meanwhile, that dragon is secure. A Team Liquid. Ooh.
Little bit curious here. Can they do anything? Yeah, Nori was soloing the dragon, and with Ayla showing on the top side, Yubi and Prismal were kind of free to walk into the river, and I was worried there was going to be punishment of some kind coming out, but thankfully Nori able to slip out without too much, as they didn't have moving in from mid lane or anything right there. So instead, it's just going to be Team Liquid pulling that first dragon in the game in response to the Rift Herald that got taken by Rosethorn. The big things that I want to highlight about the differences between this game and other games is, again, top side feels fine for Golden Guardians, and the biggest thing, this is the first time we've seen CS advantage in the favor of Prismal over Yon, even with the Lucian in this early game, which is supposed to be his power pick. Just not going to come through. Now they're going to try to put this Rift Herald into this. Oh, Ayla's level 5! He can't use the ultimate! He can't deny it! That's so tragic!
That's really good timing from Golden Guardians. They also had Inori down here from TLA, but we can't pull the trigger on it because there's really no fights to be had there. The Rift Herald's just going to get the charge off. But luckily able to dissuade any further follow-up is Ayla and Yon. Now we see the bot lane of Golden Guardians Academy roaming up as well. Nubi has been constant on these roam timers, and it's been huge in helping Rosethorn dictate the map.
They are making sure to use this Rakan to its fullest extent. You can see everyone's abandoned for the blue buff contest on both sides.
Yeah, they really want to fight over here as well.
Hayri got it. Okay.
Oh, but the flash, the prison as well. Ayla, you're caught. No magical journey this time around. That's Yunbi picking up the kill.
Very well played from Golden Guardians, finding something off the back end of that. They didn't get the blue buff, but they get themselves the kill onto Ayla. And again, Team Liquid Academy have been able to bank on this bottom lane, having at least enough in the tank to tank early against the likes of Prismal and Nubi. Is now finding themselves at the first disadvantage we've seen for the entirety of this series in the early game. 1.6k in advantage for Golden Guardians Academy. A decent amount of that is going to be in bottom side, and you're terrified of what the Xayah Rakan combination is going to do, especially given that it's a dive composition. You think about protective type ADCs that can keep themselves defensed. A Xayah Rakan has so many ways of keeping this ADC alive. You've got the ultimate, you've got the heal, you've got the flash, you've got what could be like Galeport's probably going to be the shield bow, which is another defensive tool, and then you've got everything from Rakan to keep Prismal up over the course of a fight. It is near impossible for Inori to be able to one-shot. It's very hard for Hayri to be able to one-shot this Xayah through all of that defense.
It absolutely is, and that's something that early blood, that early gold could have stopped that. They could have had that advantage, but now you're at an even or deficit state for TLA, and it gets those team fights a lot more on the cusp of needing execution. Now, see Dokla on the cusp of getting out of this engagement. That was a huge flash from him to get away from the Ornhorn. The paranoia was utilized as well just to help out. Now we see Rosethorn going down towards this mid lane where the Scuttle Crab was already secured by TLA.
Not able to find out Dokla right there. It looked like the flash into the bush, breaking that vision meant that there wasn't much else. And they knew that there was multiple members from Team Liquid Academy at or around the mid side of the map. And so taking that full engagement is effectively saying, let's team fight right here and right now, which you do not want to do necessarily with a composition like this.
Dokla getting chunked out by Niles, but trading some right back. You got a Nori back in the top lane as well, potentially trying to get his top laner a little bit of help. You will find the gank onto Niles. No paranoia this time, but the showstopper immediately comes out. Dokla might get chunked out by Niles. He's a pretty tanky boy. There's the Conqueror, and Niles will be taken out by Hayri.
A lot of members up there deployed just to get this one kill into the likes of Dokla's pocket. That was actually Hayri, thankfully, picking that one up, which I think is absolutely necessary to get these two divers some gold so that they can bring down, Yunbi or Prismal over the course of this fight. So that felt like a lot of kind of allotment right there. You take your jungler off the match and you commit your TP in one fell swoop to get a kill into an Ornn. I know you're trying to deny him experience as much as possible to prevent the Ornn items from coming through, but that was a lot from Team Liquid Academy. You can sense that, they're feeling at least a little bit of the pressure to make things happen the way that they did in game number 2, when a lot of what they did in the earlier phases was ordered by GGA. The response on the other side is full tower.
I mean, they've been down here this entire time, and they will get Jan as well. They had tried to get priority in mid lane for Yunbi to get the Realm Warp. He wasn't able to just in time. They still take the tower. They still take the kill.
That was insane right there. I gotta give props before the ultimate hits from Bard. Not only the Q to be able to come out, but then the E retract as well as that kind of hit, and that was enough damage to bring down Jan, who had the flash available at that time. I thought, the E wasn't going to come out. He's going to be able to flash out. They're going to be okay. It was just going to be the tower, but the kill and all of this kind of damage that's been thrown now into the pockets of Golden Guardians Academy has been insane. Their bottom lane capitalizing heavily. Back to top is TLA.
Hey, they found somewhere they can strike, and it's on to Niles here. Maybe they'll be able to take him down. He's pretty tanky here at this point. Dokla going for the face breaker. Gets out of there as well. Gives him the thumbs up on top of it all. GGA still in the driver's seat.
You're ganking now for Dokla, which is great. But two things. Number one, you're ganking an Ornn, which is already tough to do because he's tanky, he has the ability to deny CC, yada yada. But also, what is this set going to accomplish in the later phases? Like, who is he actually going to attack in the course of team fights? And now he's in trouble because the bot lane shows up.
Oh no, Dokla showstopper into the tower does get him away. Newbie quick thinking and can only just get one tower shot down. A little B-mote to bring him out. Hayri has found Rose Thorn, and the second chain's going to land. Jan picks up his first kill.
Jan getting a kill is it's quite bad because, again, that's one of your main damage carries, and it's somebody that can put pressure into the likes of Prismal in the later stages, the mobility he's got. But ganking that dragon off the board, again, you're taking away Team Liquid Academy's ability to just dragon stack their way into pressuring you into fighting before you're actually ready for it from the side of GGA. So I'll say, in all chat, you'd hear it all the time in solo queue. That's worth. 100% worth. You take that dragon in exchange for the kill onto Jan. I think Golden Guardians are okay with that trade.
We'll see how it all works out for them. Kings onto the Rift Herald now. That is the next big objective on the map. TLA do not want to give that one up. As the bot lane of Golden Guardians Academy is getting aggressed on towards the top side of the map here, just trying to put some pressure on. Priority up. Oh no, Yunbi goes to save. Prismal gets stopped up anyways. Grand Entrance gets the double knockup. Featherstorm as well, doing a decent amount of damage. Now the follow-up with the Realm Warp. Rose Thorn, Yunbi, the Realm Prison, and this is a huge comeback potential for Golden Guardians. Jan is not going to have the damage there on the back side of it. Ayla gets out just by the skin of his teeth, but Dokla has already fallen, and Golden Guardians are surging forward.
The Bard ultimate not able to accomplish what they wanted in getting a pick off onto Newbie, even with no flash. He's perfectly fine. You see, what summoners did they burn right there? Exhaust. They burnt Exhaust. That's how hard it is to get onto this Zyre Rakan with multiple members, with multiple ultimates going down, and the Realm War punishes him on the opposite side. Dokla had already burnt his ultimate, so that wasn't available, and Nori wasn't able to use it effectively because he had gone through the Bard portal trying to find this without anything else. Newbie saved so much of this fight, but the Prismal ultimate, the Featherstorm right there, also was so much of a zoning tool to push everybody away as fast as possible. Fought this time for Rosethorn and Yunbi to come up from mid lane with this Realm Warp and pull so much off the back of this play. Again, thwarted again and again and again. His Team Liquid Academy not even able to pull what looks like a 25 health mid tower that could help them out to some extent.
That mid lane tower is just a breath away from going down at some point to somebody. It's still Golden Guardians who are showing up in full force here in this game number 4. Their backs against the wall. We said this is where it needs to happen. There's no breath coming this way just yet. The Rift Herald will be picked up and utilized in mid lane by Golden Guardians. See if they can take down another tower here. As you see, Dokla committing to the side lane. Does have TP available if he wants to join the fight. This first tier tower, at least in the outside and mid for TL, will go down.
I was really curious why in the world that Ilo did not ultimate. His ultimate had seconds. I'm talking 1, maybe 2 seconds of cooldown left when that Rift Herald started the charge. I don't know, if someone on GGA just timed that, you are insane. You are insane for being able to time that Bard ultimate that perfectly down to the point where you can drop the Rift Herald. I was assuming that it was just going to get Bard ulted and there wasn't going to be much, and they were just going to use it to try to pressure down mid since they knew that Dokla was bot lane. That cracked mid tower. There was a 25 health tower in their own mid lane that's been on a camera multiple times. And somehow GGA forced down the enemy mid tower into a Bard because of a perfectly timed Rift Herald. GGA on every single cylinder is firing this game, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's the turnarounds, right? That's what's crazy to me, is seeing the ups and downs that the series has provided us so far, and the definite downs for Golden Guardians in the first and third game, right? Like, those games are really hard to watch because Golden Guardians never really had a say in those games. The games they do have a say in, they're screaming at the top of their lungs here. They're saying, let's go, we want more blood, we want more control. And it's just night and day to me, and I love to see it, but I also fear for what that means going up and down topsy-turvy for Golden Guardians as we go further on in this best of 5.
Yeah, talk about a potential game 5 after this one, and you know how this has changed, how this is kind of to and fro between the two.
Wait, okay. A little bit of confidence there for Brisbane. Does dodge out of the Tempered Fate, has to burn the flash. The Featherstorm also utilized some big cooldowns off the board for Golden Guardians. That tower still kicking, the strongest tower in the world here at this point.
It's still alive. Literally all it would take is like a single auto attack from any champion would bring that one down. I will say right there, I think Prismal was a bit hasty on his flash. Even if that Bard ultimate hits him, what does it really do? Like, there's no way to actually
They
engage.
found him. They found him. The double knock up into the Realm Warp as well, and Nori is down. Hayri tries to go for a pick of his own, but he can't find it on the newbie. And that's still another huge setup for Golden Guardians Academy. Now Dokla wants his own. Culling comes out, but not under the targets. Rosethorn getting chunked down now. Big base breaker, but Dokla has to flash away. Hayri's on the backside. Hayri is the one you have to watch for. He's the damage potential right now to pick off the straggling members of Golden Guardians Academy. The Golden Guardians immediately turn on to the Dragon.
Beginning of this play, I think Team Liquid Academy got caught out a little bit because with the push that had come through, they were expecting for Team Liquid Academy to go right to Dragon. They found this flank instead. They want this fight as much as possible. They're only one Dragon down. There's a lot of low members here for GGA. Getting out of this situation, this is Team Liquid's kind of gambit. They are trying to make this one work with the flank from Dokla. He's got the ultimate still in his grasp. The flash is down. I don't know if his team's in position to try to punish this guy.
Quickness is popped by Newbie. The taunt comes out as well. Dokla's just in the middle of everybody. The pack gets completed there. It's going to be re-triggered with a TP from Yumni. And now Dokla's in some serious trouble. Dokla is not going to go down just yet. The rest of TLA are here to join the fight, but Dokla finally dies. Now Ayla uses the Tempered Fate to try to get away. He has Magical Journey, but can he get out as well? Hayri has escaped the fight. There's the Magical Journey on the other side, and it's TLA who get out, battered and bruised. They've got 4 members alive.
There are so many members on the side of GGA that were low during the course of that fight, and somehow they're able to make it out alive. Our observers keep defaulting to this tower, just hanging on by just a little bit. You can see 2 members below half health. The jump in from Hayri trying to pick off Niles. Again, he used the tanky member. They were able to get the back off with this distraction coming out. Prismal gets ulted away from his team, which is tough to actually deal with. But again, no one is here to respond. And Nori's not close enough. Ayla's not close enough. They don't have the ultimates to be able to do anything. And Rosethorn and the rest of this team are here just in time to be able to prevent any of these plays from coming through from Team Liquid Academy. They have once again been thwarted at their own game, trying to find something in the semblance of offense in this game. It's just not happening. GGA are running the show right now.
It's insane. I mean, both of these teams are just leaving everything on the Rift here, and this is the lower bracket finals. This is the semifinals. There's another best of 5 ahead of us, but both these teams do not want to give an inch. Both of these teams do not want to give up on the exponential growth, the absolute amazing journeys that both of these teams respectively have taken already in this split. They don't want it to be over, and neither do I, as GGA in the driver's seat here just need to put some finishing touches to bring us to a game 5. One of those finishing touches is going to be catching out Harry. Tempered Fate buys some time, but nobody's really available to help him out besides that Paranoia. Does he still get out? There's the Orn Horn. It's not going to hit. Realm Warp is there. Yunbi gets the kill on a killing spree now as Rosethorn gets feared up. It's still Golden Guardians pressing this top lane.
They are. By another kill, there's more to be had. Everybody from Team Liquid Academy is just fighting away as much as possible. Finally, the tower goes down. Dokla took down the 25 health tower. Actually has quite a bit of pressure into the mid-inner tower as well. He is the set. He's got quite a bit of damage. They're going.
He might be dead. Featherstorm's out. Featherstorm is going to secure it. Newbie gets the kill. Jan is down. Another carry.
Baron.
Picked out by Golden Guardians. That's got to be Baron.
It's going to be near impossible to respond against this. Yes, you got Dokla, who was able to just take mid-inner tower away from the side of Golden Guardians. But again, that gold goes into your set, who doesn't do much in terms of the team fight when you have this much response, this much range to work with, and that much defense to really have in your back pocket. They can look to try to contest. Hayri's got his TP, but it's a... I just don't... Oh, GGA.
They're playing with fire here. They're trying to get the backside of it. There's the TP now coming in from Hayri. They just pull the trigger on the Baron at this point. 2,000 in. Inori has to flash away. Rosethorn has to smite the Baron. The Baron gets taken by Prismal somehow, some way. Rosethorn actually out of there. Subjugate onto Dokla. Prismal gets the kill. This is chaos, and it's completely working for Golden Guardians Academy.
They were begging for a Baron steal right there. You had Inori with his ultimate up. You had like Ayla, who had the ability to maybe try to portal someone in right there, and then Dokla was able to get vision on it. And during that process, I don't know if they were looking for a fight. I don't know if they were waiting for smite from Rosethorn. I don't know if that cooldown was up quite yet or something along those lines, because that's what it seemed like the situation was. Thankfully, last second, able to make that smite happen. I want to check that cooldown, because again, that's the important thing. I don't know why it took them so long. Right there, the first one got burnt from the likes of the Trundle. That's whose smite you're looking at right now as they get this pick off into Harry. This is also a cute little realm warp to come out here from Yumbi, as it was able to actually prevent Harry from coming back in. And then the catch onto Yon eventually is what breaks the rest of this fight together. But again, I'm watching this Trundle to see where this cooldown actually got burnt at, whether it was somewhere during the course, whether it was during the beginning phases, just so he has the health or something. He still got it. Aeon gets picked off right there, and that led to the remainder of the fight. I don't know what it was, but for some reason, it doesn't matter because he did.
Fate onto Prismal. The Featherstorm immediately uses Blade Caller. Is going to be huge. The peel is there. Golden Guardians are about to wipe the fight with TL. They do find one. The shutdown goes over to Jan, but it's too little, too late. Hayri is the only one left besides Dokla, and Dokla's out of the fight. Dokla's like, get him away from me, man. Don't bring him towards me. And it's going to be the two that get out here from the side of TLA, but their base is crashing down right now.
That it is. They're going to be able to hold not only mid inhibitor tower and inhibitor. They could go for more if they wanted to. They've got 3 members down, but there's only 15 seconds left. I don't think they worry about it. Instead, they're going to take this massive gold influx from this Baron, from this inhibitor take, the Dragon, and they can play even later into the game. They are perfectly comfortable. They are in the driver's seat for the majority of this game now. And this is GGA responding yet again. After the first game, they had to respond. They were able to make things happen. They were able to control the early pacing, and they did everything in their power, made it look so easy against TLA. And after game 3, everything held in the mid-game, they do it again. They're able to make this response happen. They're able to claim back control of this entire map and not give anything into the mid-lane, generate their own advantage, and play to it. And now, 25 minutes in, sitting up 7,000 gold, 3 dragons to 1, a perfect position for a late-game team to be in.
It absolutely is, and you're seeing the Ornn items come in as well. The upgrades coming through from Niles. The gold lead is going to be more than it represents on the screen. We'll see that chaotic fight that we just saw with Prismal getting caught out to start it off.
Watch Inori really quick, because in the beginning of this, okay, he did end up going on to what was, for some reason I thought he hadn't gone on to Xayah. I'm like, what happened to Xayah in this fight? Prismal was able to actually get engaged on. They brought him down in the midst of everything. Okay, I was curious, because I was like, the ultimate got popped. They found the way in, but there's so many strong members here on the side of GGA Academy. It was impossible to bring down all of the necessary threats to everything. And Xayah got so much done between the Featherstorm, the Feather Pull, everything else after the Zonias had come through. All of that damage on its own was enough to really win the fight. And everybody else just capitalized on it. Big props to Prismal, big props to Newbie, who was able to help out in the earlier stages of the game as well with some of that aggression, denying it and roaming around the map, making these plays happen. As right now, it seems like GGA just coasting slowly, waiting for their time period, waiting for that Elder Dragon, second Baron, and that's when they can start to really look to close this game.
Yeah, they're just waiting, and honestly waiting for TLA to make a mistake or to overextend here, because they know they have the lead, they know they have the advantage, they're pushing up with the waves. It's all about how TLA approach these next few moments. You have Niles in the top lane pushing. Looks like TL want to make the call here. They want to take the fight. Timber Fate does saw the fight in half, but is Niles going to be enough to tank up the front line? Doko's already dead. Prismal's still full health. There's the re-engage. Hayri's trying to get Prismal, but he doesn't go down as Jan is left out to his tank lonesome. One more shot. Niles might go down to this, though. They still have it. A triple kill for Prismal. Can they get him more? Jan and Hayri on the outsides of the fight can't do anything about it. And now the Nexus towers are underway.
Is the pillar going to be up? Are they going to be able to deny? No, he's not. That's going to be at least one Nexus tower down. The wave's not here. I don't know that they can close right this second. They do have quite a bit of presence. Oh, yeah, the ending isn't coming. It's going to be really hard for DLA to do anything but just lose this game outright around the next couple of minutes. Within the next 3, you've got the Dragon and the Baron that are going to be possibilities here for the side of GGA to take. And can we talk about like what stakes exist now? Hayri is going crazy, looking for just some semblance of offense.
Oh wait,
he really went back.
Wait, no, yeah, okay.
He's kind of crazy.
Do it to him, Hayri. Do it to him.
Respect to Hayri right there. He's stalling them out, trying to make sure that they can't just step into Baron here in the next minute or something like that. But again, talking about the stakes of not only making it to finals. In the spring, GGA got eliminated by the side of 100 Thieves. They want that vengeance match. They want to be able to claim that they beat them at the end of the summer. Their scaling came in and they beat the team that knocked them out in the first place. Team Liquid Academy, they also got put out by 100 Thieves with 2 substitutes in the same positions that they had to run. 100 Thieves has so much brain space kind of allotted for both of these teams that both of them are competing to try to overcome that kind of frostbite, that kind of demon that's sitting in the back pocket right now. And GGA, they want to be the ones who get a chance to fight up against that. They're doing a phenomenal job of exploiting this late game here in this game. And it comes to a game 5 because we're kind of slowly approaching that point where eventually this Baron is going to get taken, this Dragon's going to get taken, and almost certainly this game is going to go to 5.
Oh my god, no, they want to end it now. They've already found Jan. Jan is dead, and so is Doko. There's no way he gets out of this one. They smell blood in the water, and they go for the throat. Golden Guardians are looking to push us to game 5, Rebel.
Hey, they're going to do it right here on this push right now. There are no tools burnt off of this Xayah alone who can just still carry this fight. They're going to try with Isla, but that's not going to happen. And Nori and Hayri have to make just absolute miracles just to survive. I don't think it's going to happen.
They gun it back.
It's game 5. It's game 5.
Nori's here. Go ahead and start sounding those silver screams. Get the tracks ready, get Spotify on loud, because we've got a game 5 incoming, baby! It's Golden Guardians Academy laying everything on the line to make it to that grand finals against 100 Thieves, and TLA are reeling from that game 4.
Think about the run that Golden Guardians have had to make up until this point. They lost in the first round of Proving Grounds. They almost got knocked out immediately, and they have had to overcome series after series after series in the lower brackets, and they have made the gauntlet run to Game 5 of the lower bracket finals to get into that 1 and 2 spot, trying to play up against 100 Thieves who put them out last year. What heroics coming out of this team as we get to walk into the final game of the series. We're down to a best of 1. Team Liquid Academy, you got to come up with something because, again, the onus is on you. You have been the one back and forth with them all series, taking these odd number games. What do you got in your back pocket?
It's got to come out. The last game, both teams backs against the wall, both teams on the brink of elimination. We got to chill down for a second. We got to send it to a little break. We're going to be right back with the analyst desk to break down that game 4 and prep us for game 5.